let's be real. Have you ever picked up a product, looked at the price tag, and just thought, how did they come up with that number? Well, for big companies, it's not just some number they pull out of thin air. It's an incredibly complex, high-stakes game. So today, let's pull back the curtain and see how they build the perfect price.
You see, in today's crazy global market, one product could have hundreds of different prices. The price for a big wholesaler in Germany, totally different from the price for someone like you buying online in California. And if a company gets this wrong, we're talking millions, literally millions down the drain.
And this really gets to the heart of the shift we're seeing. That old way of thinking, one price fits all, it's just gone. It doesn't work anymore. The goal now, the only goal, is to find that one perfect, surgically precise price for every single sale. It's a huge challenge for sure, but getting it right is what separates the leaders from everyone else.
All right, so let's kick things off with our first big idea. The price is wrong. Why is this upgrade so critical right now? Well, think about it. When you're juggling thousands of products, countless customers, and locations all over the world, the old, simple pricing systems just can't keep up. They start to crack, they start to break, and pretty soon, the price is just plain wrong. And that is a massive, revenue-killing problem.
So when you're fixing this, you're really aiming for three big things. First, it has to be scalable. You shouldn't have to rebuild everything just because you launch a new website. Second, accuracy has to be 100%, no wiggle room. And third, it needs to be traceable. If a customer ever calls and asks, hey, why was I charged this amount? You need to have the answer instantly. This isn't just about good paperwork, it's about trust.
Okay, so how do you actually do all this? That brings us to the blueprint. To hit all those goals, what companies are doing is, essentially, building a pricing brain. Yeah, think of it like that. It's this powerful engine of pure logic designed to take in a ton of different information and spit out just one single correct number, the final price.
And just like our own brains, this pricing engine can't make a decision in a vacuum. It needs context. It has to look at the whole situation from a bunch of different angles before it can make a smart call.
So here's where it gets really cool. These are the big questions the brain has to ask. These are the dimensions of any price. Who's buying? Is it a VIP customer or someone brand new? How are they buying it? In bulk or just one item online? What exactly are they buying? And where in the world are they? Every single one of these answers can change that final price.
All right, time to pop the hood and look inside this logic engine. We've talked about the what and the why, but now let's get into the how. How does this pricing brain actually think? Well, it all boils down to four fundamental pillars.
So pillar number one, the condition table. The best way to think about this is like a giant library inside the brain filled with thousands of rule books. And each rule book has a very specific rule written inside, like the price for product X, when you sell it through the wholesale channel, is exactly $100. Okay, but if you've got thousands of these rule books, how on earth does the brain find the right one? Well, that's where the second pillar comes in, the access sequence. This is the brain's search strategy. It's a precise plan that tells it exactly which rulebooks to check first, always starting with the most specific rule it can find.
Pillar number 3 is the condition type. This just tells the brain what kind of number it's hunting for. Is it looking for the basic list price, or is it trying to find a special weekend discount, or maybe it's figuring out the sales tax? It needs to know what it's looking for.
And that brings us to the fourth and final pillar, the pricing procedure. This is basically the calculator at the end of the line. After the brain has gone out and found the base price, the right discount, and the correct tax, this thing tells it exactly how to add and subtract them all to get that final, perfect price.
This slide, this is a perfect example of that search strategy in action. You see, the system is relentless. It's like a detective. It always asks the most specific question first. Is there a special price just for this one customer? If the answer is no, it broadens its search. Okay, what about their customer group? Still no? Fine, what about the sales channel? And if it strikes out on everything, it has a fallback, the global base price. And here's the key. The second it finds a match, it stops. It takes that price and it's done.
Okay, so that's the theory, right? The 4 pillars, the logic, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's see how this engine tackles some really common and sometimes really tricky business problems.
Let's take a super common example. The brain is told to find a price for material X. An order pops up through the wholesale channel. Boom. The brain finds the $100 rule. A minute later, another order for the same exact product comes in, but this time through the retail site. Boom, it finds the $120 rule.
Same product, different context, different price. Simple, clean, and perfect.
But of course, it's never that simple, is it? Here's where things can get really tricky. What happens when a gold-tier customer who gets a special discount wants to buy a product that's also part of a big summer sale? They technically qualify for 2 different discounts. So what do? Which discount do they actually get?
And here's the beautiful part. This system doesn't have to guess. The business decides the rule way ahead of time. They can set up the brain to follow logic A, where it always gives the customer the single best deal. Or they can program it for logic B and let the customer stack both discounts. This right here, this is where technology becomes business strategy. It gives the company the flexibility to run complex promotions that their competitors just can't handle.
Okay, and then there's everyone's favorite topic, taxes. This powerful engine makes it simple. It just asks 3 quick questions. 1, where's the product shipping from? 2, where's it going? And 3, are there any special rules for this specific customer or this product? Based on those answers, it finds and applies the exact right tax rate, whether that's 19% or 0.
Okay, so you've built this incredible pricing brain, but you're not just going to flip the switch and hope for the best, right? Absolutely not. The financial risk is just way too high. Before this thing ever touches a real customer order, you have to test it like crazy to be sure it thinks correctly.
So how do you test it? You create super specific scenarios, just like these. You feed the brain a set of inputs, and you check to see if it spits out the exact result you expect. For instance, let's pretend we're placing an order for a customer we know is tax-exempt. The result better come back with 0 tax, right? If it doesn't, we know we've got a bug to squash before we go live.
But hey, things happen. Even after you launch, what do you do if a price on an order just looks weird? You don't have to guess. There's a special diagnostic tool called the pricing analysis that lets you peek right inside the brain and see exactly how it made its decision.
Now, when you run that analysis, this is what you want to see, a big old green check mark. This means condition found. The tool will literally show you the exact rulebook and the specific line in that book that it used to get the price. There's no mystery, it's total transparency. But if you see this, the dreaded red X, well, that tells a different story. It means the brain went searching for a rule, but came up empty-handed. The beauty is, it tells you exactly what it was looking for and couldn't find. Maybe someone just forgot to set up a price. The tool points you right to the problem so you can fix it in minutes, not days.
And that really brings us to the final takeaway. This quote says it all. This isn't just about building fancy tech. It's about building confidence. It's about being able to take a real-life, messy sales order and prove, with data, that the new pricing brain gets it right. It's a reliable engine that doesn't just find the perfect price. It gives the whole company the confidence to be smarter, move faster, and ultimately win.